Welcome back to the show. I am joined with our guest Tucker Maxwell of Guild Mortgage. Tucker, how you doing?
I'm doing well, Dan. Thanks.
I
How are
think
you?
we took a little break here. I myself took a vacation. How about you? What have you been up to?
Just enjoying the Pacific Northwest, getting outside. I actually ran Ragnar this past weekend. So I did the Northwest Passage, about 200-ish miles from Blaine, Washington to Langley, Washington on Whidbey Island.
You're crazy. Was somebody chasing you?
Yeah, it felt like it. But yeah, nope, a team of 10 people. So myself and 9 others, we made the trek and we completed it in just over about 30-ish hours or so.
Awesome. Congratulations. That's an awesome feat of strength by you. I notice your shirt says USA.
Yeah, Women's World Cup. So the U.S. women's team is in the World Cup, and they play tomorrow night. So we're back in. So go USA.
Go USA. Oh my gosh, I feel like a horrible American for not knowing that. Jeez. Yeah. All
It's
right.
also July, so
I follow football and I follow rugby. I don't follow soccer as much as I should, or football, as the rest of the world calls it. All right, so let's talk. Before we get into your main topic, which is myths about down payment, I just want to kind of circle back to the conversation that was being that I was talking to myself, my followers out there, about justifying holding onto as a rental versus buying. So maybe you can speak to somebody in a predicament, wondering should they hold on to their house, should they refi, are there other programs, et cetera, et cetera.
yeah, and this dovetails perfectly with the conversation. And so the idea of keeping the home and turning it into a rental is a fantastic idea. And what I always talk about when anybody comes to me and they're thinking about buying their next property and they currently own a home, the first thing I do is say, can we qualify for the new home without selling that home? Especially with the interest rates that these people have on these homes, they're probably better than we will ever see again. And so you mentioned cash flow and the opportunity for cash flow. Now is the best time ever to try to convert that existing home, whether it has a mortgage or not, into a rental and have it cash flow. So that's the first thing I say is, do we need to sell? Like, do you have no other funds for down payment? Or can we possibly adjust what you were thinking of doing on this new purchase to be able to preserve and keep that home and expand your real estate portfolio?
Yeah, if I can interject, what you said there is I love, like even if they don't have a mortgage on it, because there's an opportunity there too, right? In order to pull some equity out for a down payment on the other one, is the quickest pathway to wealth is through home ownership. And there are people that do what house hack, right? 7 years
Yeah.
in a house and then they move to the next one. I mean, I would challenge the house hack and say, well, why not hold on to that house, move into the new one, especially if that house you moved out of is going to cash flow. And I would say you should come up with a number that you're comfortable with cash flow. My number is 200 to 250 a month cash flow. That's my number.
Yeah.
If I can get any piece of real estate that's leveraged in any way and it's streaming me a positive cash flow of 200 to 250, that allows me I'm going to say that builds in reserves because I have reserves built into that. That's just my positive gains right there is 250 a month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love that. And it might seem like, wow, Dan, 200, 250, that's a lot of risk, but the appreciation you're getting, like the actual investment there is far greater than just the 200 to 250 times 12 a year. There's the appreciation on the equity position. There's a ton of things. So
There's
that's the first.
appreciation and depreciation that you can
Exactly.
deduct.
Yeah.
And really, when your 10 year now from you will thank you for doing it, because it's not next month. It's not oh, my tax returns. Look at all that. I made 250 times 12, which is not much, right? But
Yeah.
10 years from now, when it's really pounding down the principal, then you'll see, and the equity is increased. You'll be able to then take those two investment or one investment property, turn it into two or three, and off you go. So let's talk about the myths with regards to down payments. Is 20% required?
Yeah, so I think this dovetails perfectly because a lot of those people are like, no, I have to sell so I can put down 20%. I can't buy with 20%. But the reality is there's home loans available with as little as 3% down, 5% down if you've owned a home before. So great programs available with very little out of pocket. And for first time home buyers, we can get them into a home with zero down. Like there are programs out there that will actually cover the down payment for those buyers.
Okay.
So that
So
urban myth of 20%,
yeah,
that's really not true.
where did that come from though? There is a reason behind it.
It all stems from private mortgage insurance, and people are really apprehensive. They think mortgage insurance is kind of the end of the world, and mortgage insurance is what protects a lender from a client defaulting. And if we can't sell the home for what we've lended, we need to have some protection there. So as a lending industry, we require across the board that you carry private mortgage insurance until you have 20% equity in the home. So that's where that 20% comes from, because there's a lot of schools of thought, a lot of people out there that say, oh, PMI is bad. Don't pay private mortgage insurance. It's not a good investment. Well, the reality is let's think about our home prices here on the east side. What does that 20% look like? And how long would it take? Think of a millennial that is earning record wages, right? Millennials are earning more than any other generation ever. But still, it takes a long time to get to 20% of our average purchase price here. And the longer it takes to get there, that purchase price is going to keep going up. And so you're going after a moving target, when in reality, buy now, pay the private mortgage insurance, and let equity work for you, and you will have far out, done the investment versus trying to save for 20%, because it's a moving target. Most people will never get there.
We'll never get there. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So then based on that, what is the minimum required?
Yeah, so I kind of gave this away. So conventional programs today, so not even FHA. A lot of people are, don't even want to look at FHA, but Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, conventional loans now allow somebody to buy with 3% down. So really, technically speaking, on a conventional mortgage, 3% is the minimum. In Washington State, and for folks looking to buy in the Seattle area or the East Side, the Washington State Housing Finance Commission will cover that 3% down payment for you with a little mini loan that you pay off down the road. So really, technically, there isn't a set number. It depends on your scenario that we could even get the 3% requirement waived.
Okay. So basically it depends, but there's options for everybody. Are there some minimum credit score standards?
Yeah, so I think that's the other thing that kind of stops people from buying a home. It's one, they're apprehensive of having enough money. The second thing is what's my credit score need to be? And right now, so specific to each lender, they're going to have minimum requirements, but we go down to as low as 580 credit score, which is really attainable for almost everybody. I mean, if you have any credit, unless you've really damaged it, 580 is a pretty attainable credit score, and then up from there. And so I just thought that's important to note, that if credit is the reason that's holding you back from buying, just start the conversation, because you're probably already there. You probably at least have a 580 credit score.
Okay. And so based on this, I know the answer to this, but what steps should a first-time home buyer take to prepare to purchase a home?
Yeah, I think it's just having a conversation. So one, it's all about financial literacy. So whoever that resource is for them, whether it's a financial advisor, you as a real estate professional, a lender, get with them and have a conversation, and let a professional that's in the weeds, in the industry going through this, kind of start asking questions. Tell me about your income. How long have you been employed? How long do you plan to stay in the area? Have you financed anything before? Start having those conversations. And then once you've started to have those conversations, stay in your job. Job security, or job longevity in your job is really important. So keep your job. Don't quit. Don't bounce around a lot. Save money. Cash is king. So we want to make sure you have money. So the more money you can set aside, even if we don't need it for down payment and cash to close, it helps you develop a habit of having funds on hand should something break in the home, or the things that come along with home ownership. So start saving money, and really just start the dialogue. Have a conversation with a professional. Call me, and we can help them really dive into their scenario and put them on a timeline that says, if once you do X, Y, and Z, you'll be ready to buy. And that should take 30, 60, 90 days. And then we all know in the fall, you'll be ready to buy, and we can have that game plan laid out for them.
Okay. So one last thing, we had mentioned that down payment assistance, like zero down. Are you aware of any down payment assistant classes that are coming up that people should know about, or do you do them, or?
Yeah. So I teach them. I teach just about every Tuesday. I teach a first-time homebuyer class that provides the requirement for down payment assistance, because there is a homebuyer education requirement for those loans. But on the Washington State Housing Finance Commission website, wshfc.org, there's a link there, and there's classes just about every day of the week. They're free. They're on Zoom. You can, take them from the comforts of your own home. But it's a great first step for a home buyer. Whether they need down payment assistance, I really recommend one of those classes.
Okay, awesome. So there you go. There's everything you need to know about down payment and getting you ready, whether you're a first-time home buyer or not. Tucker, thank you so much.
You bet, Dan. Thank you.
All right, so I'm just going to close out our show with Tucker here. We appreciate you guys watching. If you have any interested buyers, interested sellers with questions on the housing market, please reach out to either one of us. Last but not least, obviously, we have a football game, soccer game coming up for the women's soccer tomorrow. What time is that?
Good question. I don't have that offhand.
Okay, you can find it, Google it. But this weekend we have the Capitol Hill Block Party. It's an annual 3-day music festival held in Capitol Hill, neighborhood of Seattle. Performance genres include R&B, rock, indie, punk, EMD, and many more. The event starts Friday the 21st through the 23rd, Capitol Hill neighborhood in Washington. So that should be a lot of fun. Get out there, enjoy the wonderful Pacific Northwest. And if you need a place to live, let us know. We can help. Thanks for watching.
Thanks, Dan.